Okay, let's talk about Hetzner, Digital Ocean, and Hatchbox. So this is specifically for Rails hosting. I think Hatchbox can manage. I mean, I have stuff that's not Rails. I have pure Ruby, and I also just have like regular HTML, CSS stuff that's hosted and managed via Hatchbox. But this is specifically for Rails setup. Like that's how I'll be walking through this. If you're not familiar with, this is sort of like an alternative to sort of a Heroku render.com kind of setup. There's lots of different ways to manage this. This is how I happen to manage it. So you can basically imagine you've got a bunch of random projects and you want to host them all in one place and not have to pay a ton for all these different servers. This is a pretty inexpensive way. You can get Hetzner Cloud for, let's see what the cheapest one, I think it's like $13 or something. Oh, even cheaper. So if you do a shared CPU, you can get it for as little as $379. Dedicated is what I typically go with. You've got more location options here. So we'll probably be using that. But so as little as $13 a month for a pretty powerful server. And then on Digital Ocean, we'll use a shared database, which I think is also $13 a month. And you can host just about all of your projects. I mean, like a ton of stuff here. So I'm going to walk through how to set that up because it's a little involved, but not difficult. There's just a number of steps. So first thing you do is go to Hatchbox, sign up for an account, and create. Well, actually, you need a Hetzner account first. So sign up for that. They might have, sometimes they do like an ID verification that you have to like submit a picture of your driver's license or something, depending on your location. That can take a bit of time. So go ahead and create that account first. But you don't need to create a server here. So you're creating a project. So they have projects. I've created a quick demo here, but do not create a server. Hatchbox handles that. So you go to Hatchbox, new cluster, select Hetzner, call this quick demo. Another quick demo. Then you'll need your access token from the Hetzner side of things. We'll see. Quick demo. And FYI, I'm going to delete all of this before I post the video, so none of these API keys will matter. Paste that in. So then I'll choose this region. Okay, so we're all good on that particularly. So now we have to add, so you've created a cluster, and then now we're going to add a server to the cluster. So this is coming from, this is all Hetzner because I gave it that Hetzner API key. And so you can see all these different ones to pick from. Okay, so you can go for as little as $4 a month. We'll just do that because why not? These right. Let's see. Yeah. So we'll select all these, and I'll walk through some of them. You certainly need a web server. The Postgres and Redis thing, I'll talk about that in a minute. Then background workers or cron jobs. I don't know that they're required. I think the cron part is needed if you want it to automatically run Rails DB migrate on deploy. So you just have to enable that. So you create the server. You see it's setting that up. And if we actually go over to Hetzner. Okay, so you can see it setting it up over here as well. This can actually take a minute. While that's doing its thing, actually, okay, yeah, it's still going. Let me think if there's any. Okay, we'll be letting it do that. So while that's setting up, we're going to go over to Digital Ocean. So I use Digital Ocean for a managed Postgres database. You could set up Postgres on Hetzner, that's fine, but it's not managed. So there's a bunch of stuff that comes with the Digital Ocean managed databases. So I just prefer it because realistically, the database is more important than the server part. As far as you lose data from your database, like that's a real slog to try to fix that from a user perspective, and can actually be incredibly damaging. So I try not to skimp too much on the database, but people have different opinions about that. So to create a database in DigitalOcean, you go to databases, create a database cluster, pick your region, Postgres. We're going to go with like the shared cheap, so it's $13 a month. Storage, whatever. That's fine for that cluster name. Go for a demo here. So okay, this is $15 a month with storage. Cool, great, fantastic. So that's going to be doing his thing. Okay, so that also has to do a little bit of setup. We'll go back to, I think we might be good. I'll see what's pending here. Okay, it's still provisioning. This does not take a terribly long time. Maybe I'll speed up the video here. So the server is set up. You can see over here on Hetzner, we've got our little green, yay, it's functioning. All this stuff's good. So you see there's our server here that includes all of these, the web server, cron, et cetera, et cetera. Our database is still setting up. That's fine. While that's doing that, we need to create an app. So an app is like, think of it as Git repos. That's what we're going to connect it to a Git repo here. Okay, let's see. I think I did under here. All right, so I had already connected it to my GitHub account, so we'll also enable automatic deploys. Wonderful. You would also go to, this is where you would go and add your domain. It can handle, it uses Let's Encrypt for automatic SSL stuff. You can also use Cloudflare. We'll leave that be. Let's see. So one thing we're going to have to come in here and add as a database URL. And I'll show you also how to add Redis, but I really want this thing to finish up first. One thing we will have to add is Rails has, you have to do your master key. Let me find that over here. Okay, so you'll have to do Rails master key, add that. We'll save the changes there. Okay, we're still waiting on database. So while we're waiting, so Hatchbox has unmanaged databases included automatically. Fantastic. Presumably, yes, so these would be running on Hetzner in this case. So you can click a button and you add a database, and it's running on the same server. It's just unmanaged, and from like a backups perspective, yeah, talking about here, like using a separate one gives you point in time recovery, more easily scaled, that kind of thing. However, what I do think is actually pretty nice with Hatchbox is using them for Redis. So done. Which is crazy, right? So like if you go into the environment, you'll see there's the Redis URL. So you're already set on that stuff. So things like Sidekick, it's automatically connected to Redis there. Obviously, you can split these things off into multiple servers and whatnot if you want. But as far as getting your own apps up and running, that's easy enough. Okay, so Postgres. So this is probably the trickiest part of the whole thing, is getting the cluster set up to work correctly. So add your IP address. Now, what you also want to do is add your server IP address. So this right here. Add that to allow that to be an incoming connection, and then add your own IP address. That way, you're not just letting anybody connect to the server. So the thing with DigitalOcean's managed stuff is you've got this essentially root admin username and password in database. You want to create a separate username and table, right? Like, to be able to connect that. So that way you can create different users and databases for every one of your projects, and they don't all have connections to each other. So we'll create demo user and then demo. So imagine, like, in this cluster, you can create, I assume sort of infinite users and databases. So this one cluster holds all your projects if you want to have a single server for all that stuff. Now what we have to do is give demo user permission to access demo database with read and write access. So that's what we'll do. Now, to do that, let me open a terminal. All right, we got that. So you go to connection string, you copy that. So this is connecting as root, and then you basically have to do PSQL. Boom, we're connected to that particular database. You know what I actually want to do is, instead of, we want to connect to demo database, but we need to do it as this user. This just saves us a step. So we're going to, what is it? There we go. PSQL. Okay, so we're connected to demo database as the root user, but we need to add a new user. So let's call I'm about to paste a bunch of stuff. So there's this block, and I'll share this as like a gist or something. Okay, there we go. I think that did the trick. Yeah, cool. All right, I think we're good now, actually. Well, yes, there's not a root. There's no root anything, but this means it's working. So there we go. It's as easy as that, except for me forgetting the Postgres privileges, which again is like it's the most difficult part here. Yeah, that actually means the real dep's working. And you can see it created the server process. So this is where you would go. Like, imagine you've got Sidekick. So if you have a proc file, it'll recognize that and automatically add Sidekick as a new process. But you can go through and add different things as well. And then like cron jobs, pretty straightforward. Add those there. They can run automatically. What else? I feel like I'm probably forgetting something. And this was kind of all over the place. Yeah, these are just logs. You can SSH into your server, manage it there. After you've got that initial cluster set up, like again, if you're wanting to just have one place to host a bunch of apps within this single server that was $4, just go through and create a new app. Like, you don't have to do the servers anymore. So, you'd create another app on this cluster. Let's see. Connect it to a particular repo, and then, you know, you can go create some either an unmanaged database. Like if you really don't want the managed stuff, like just use Hatchbox's unmanaged servers, and then that doesn't cost you anything other than really space and some system resources, which, you know, you go through and check out what's happening on your Hetzner machine. So these like CPU spikes are, you know, happen. You'll see that stuff on like a Sidekick, like background jobs sometimes, or in this case, like restarting servers. But for the most part, like you're staying, usually for me, it's like single-digit percentage resource usage. So that's that. Let me see if there's anything else. That's all good. Yeah, and then you've got all these databases. You've got, you know, you go through and look at usage there if you care. Also, all sorts of stuff there. But like, so this is $15 a month for a managed Postgres database. It just happens to be on a shared server. And then a Hetzner server, which was like $4. And so that's $20 a month basically, for which will handle multiple of like your typical basic project. And what's crazy here, let's see if I can show this, how fast deploys are on this. So let's see here. I'm going to, here's my quick demo thing. Let me, you know what we'll do? Routes. So here's what we're going to do. Route generate controller pages, index. So pages index. I think that's good. So then we'll, so I just push that, and here we go. Like it, for the automatic deploy, like it's doing that, and then should take less than 30 seconds. There we go, done. Like that's incredibly fast on the deployment. And there we go. And there's our pages index on our Rails app. So typically, yes, deploys take less than 20 seconds. It's just super fast. So that's that. Sorry, that got a little, my database permission stuff took up a little bit of time there. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm not some sort of sysadmin here, but this works really well for me. And that combo of Hatchbox, Hetzner, and then the managed Postgres databases on DigitalOcean are pretty killer combo. All right, there we go.